Welcome to our third day highlights review here on Because London. I'm Caroline Issa and my colleague Carmen Bellot is in another room somewhere far away. Hi Carmen.
Hi Caroline, how are you?
Good. How's it going?
Good. I've got a dreary view of rainy London from my windows, which is a bit more depressing from the weekend, but there's been some interesting shows today, so that's been entertaining me.
That's good. Today is definitely, as they say here in Britain, a corker, I think. I've got the worst English sayings. We actually had a really short day yesterday, so we thought we would actually share some of the shows that were presented yesterday here on our day 3 highlight. So it's actually day 4 technically. But we wanted to start with Bianca Sanders, which is a designer we both love and have been following quite intently on the London Fashion Week schedule. She normally is on menswear, so it's lovely to have her here in February. Again, purely menswear video, surrealist inspired by a poem by Jean Cocteau, in fact. And this video for me, short and sweet, but really was full of evocative sort of imagery, and you could take a still or a screenshot and it just felt very, very beautifully thought through and imagined. And I really loved this film, and yes, it was a little hard to see the clothes because apparently it was all about the shoulder, which I couldn't tell, but I didn't care because when you have a video this beautiful, I think it's all about sort of the feeling that it leaves you with. What did you think, Carmen?
Yeah, I was very intrigued with this video. As you said, it's very short. I think it's about 1.5 minutes long, and it's all filmed in black and white, which I think can be very risky, especially as we've critiqued some films for not being able to show the clothes very well. And as you said, it wasn't the best film to see in the collection, but I really loved how it kind of represented Bianca Sanders as a multidisciplinary artist, and she's always been very interested in video and curation and art, and this video I think nicely put that all together. I think she was, in the press notes I was reading, she was partially inspired by Mouret as well, which I think you can tell from the surrealism, and some of the frames are very much like his photography. And yeah, I really liked it. I thought, considering it was focused on shoulders, and that was her key point for this season, was the shoulders and how that structure sits. I thought it actually showed that quite nicely, and it was refreshing to see something in black and white, even though you couldn't see the clothes that well, but it was very artistic and very stimulating and very enjoyable. So I really liked that yesterday. It was a nice little Sunday watch.
So true. Preen, our next highlight, was actually very simple, shot on a farmland. I have no idea where. Chickens, mushrooms. It was very domestic, cozy farm life, wearing their signature floral prints. I think we saw some of their homewares, the blankets, the pillows, which I know they do so well with. And Preen has always been about romanticism, mix and match, utilitarianism, but I have also loved how they've really stayed true over the couple of decades that they've been doing this to their woman and to their kind of their thing. And it's just really beautiful. It's fun, the girls look cute, they're sort of running around their chickens, and lovely, but very simple, and maybe that's sometimes all you need, right?
Yeah, I think simplicity is great when there's so much stuff in the fashion industry, and especially at the moment so much content's being thrown out there. I personally really liked it because I'm from the countryside, so it made me feel very nostalgic of when I was growing up and running around in fields and trying to have fun when there's not really anything to do.
Were you wearing dresses like this in the countryside, Carmen?
I would have liked to. I would have definitely liked to. Sadly, I don't think my taste was that developed then. kind of stuck with my wellies and just whatever would get dirty. So but I really liked it. It was, for me, I found a real nice personal attachment for that. I was also reading that they were actually quite inspired by their homeware, and they were using a lot of like eider-down materials in their scarves and accessories to really amp up the cozy factor. And yeah, it was just very cute and simple, as you said, and very Preen. I think it also showed their kind of aesthetic very nicely. And yeah, and just made me want to go back to the countryside, to be honest. So hopefully soon I'll be able to do that and be wearing one of their outfits and frolicking around just like those models are. So,
well, I think it'll be you and most people who are living in the city, right? I think there is definitely a real desire for leaving city centers and going to the countryside. So they've definitely hit on something. And hopefully, you know, the countryside will definitely look like the Preen world. So let's see.
Yeah.
Osman Yousafzadeh, who is, again, someone that we have really loved following his career and his kind of reincarnation constantly from fashion designer purely to really now as an artist who uses fashion as a medium. He's been curating shows, something he did last year, or maybe it was a year and a half ago now, in Birmingham, which apparently is going to be traveling around the world, as well as his use of kind of art and working with many female artists. You know, Osman has always redefined himself, but at the heart of it, I think he uses words, visuals, and fabric to tell his story of identity, searching for identity, and also for highlighting the plight of a lot of workers, the women who actually make our clothes. So Osman is at once, you know, incredibly beautiful and on the level, you know, a superficial beauty that you could just take a look at and love. But I think if you dig deeper into many of his messages, especially these days, I think there's so much substance that Osman is trying to share with his audience. And I really appreciate that. Now, we met him. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how he explained his approach to this collection?
Yeah, so we met him before the film debuts, and he was telling us about how for this collection in this film he's split it into kind of 3 sections, filmed part of it in London, part of it in Pakistan, and part of it in the West Indies as well. And he has focused on this journey of healing, and he's kind of shown how important it is, and he feels it's so important to really focus on that and to focus on that in a year when everything has been quite treacherous and difficult. I loved the film. I loved the music. I thought it was really beautifully captivating and soulful and really calming, which I think just added to the theme of healing and transformation and re-energizing yourself. And I thought the clothes were really beautiful. When we spoke to him, we were able to see some of the pieces more close up, and there's so much embroidery in things like the evil eye. He's used a lot as a motif in his works, as well as pomegranate in kind of different shades. There was a really beautiful jacket where the back of it, I think, had a blue or purple pomegranate on the back, from what I remember. And it was lovely. He's always been such a pioneer in kind of showing voices that are often unheard and bringing different artists and different parts of the world together. So it was a really lovely film, really interesting. And I'm intrigued to see what else he'll be doing in the future, because he said that he's got so many like artistic plans now, so many kind of gallery openings happening around the world. So I'm intrigued to hear more about what Osman will be doing this year.
We were lucky in the sense that he did show us some of the clothes up close, and I think it's really mind-blowing when you see these pomegranates that are 3D embroidered, and also the hand of Fatima, and just sort of the work that goes into this hand embroidery, plus some of the Uzbeki hand-woven silk jackets and the patterns that he sort of works now in a cooperative way with these women who are doing the looming. And I think, you know, as we go further with digital fashion weeks, again, and we always touch upon this in the last few days, Carmen, but I really feel there has to be sort of a multi-layered storytelling approach, because I did love this film as well. The music was fantastic and it was great to see who was wearing the clothes, but sometimes you really miss seeing that detail in the same way that, you know, touching and feeling what we don't get now gives you an instant idea as to silhouette, feel, and emotion from the clothes. So I hope that people will get to take a look at some of the detail on his upcycled jackets that have these patches on them, because I think that's really, really beautiful and hard to see, and you miss that in the video. So take a look somehow if you can. One video that we are showing on our website that you can watch in full is Emilia Wickstead. I adore Emilia's approach to dressing. It is chic and elegant and so put together, but also very nonchalant. It's not a huge amount of effort, even though you look like you've spent an age when you put on one of her gowns or even one of her suits. And Emilia shot this over a week with this incredible set that she designed. She told me a little tidbit, I hope I can share, but they were looking at shooting at the Conran, at the Conran shop, in an empty window. And unfortunately, logistics said that they just couldn't do it because it was too narrow in terms of the depth of field in order to film. But the actual windows were in these lovely fuchsia, and it inspired her to create the set that looked like little windows. And her entire collection was sort of based on film noir, Hitchcock's Rear Window, where, you know, obviously any Hitchcockian or heroine is going to look absolutely incredible, and you know, that 1950s glamour is something that I am absolutely desperate to get into for when we're able to swan around town. What did you think, Carmen, about the show and the collection?
I think firstly the pink backdrop is such a captivating setting, and also such a colour I think really defines that millennial generation. It's such a distinct colour and positive and feminine, and I think it, surprisingly, even though it's not really used in this collection, in Emilia's collection, I think it really reflects her brand, and I thought the clothes were just beautiful. They were so classic Emilia, very well structured, very form-fitting, but not ostentatious, and very classic and simple, but still very captivating. I loved the suits, I loved the kind of range of colours as well, and there was a print, I think, that popped up at near the end of the film, and it was this kind of white cotton with this blue rose print on it, which I thought was very beautiful, and it could be seen as a more traditional print, but actually I think in the context of the silhouette it was really, really modern and something anyone could wear. I really, really liked it. I think she's always such a reliable designer to make clothes that women really, really want to wear. I also love the cut out bits as well. There was lots of like back details with open backs and like high rises on the skirts, which gives that element of sexy, which I think women definitely want to feel again, having spent so much time at home, and you know, I believe dressing is for yourself, but sometimes you just need that little push to kind of make you feel that way and give you that energy back, and I think her clothing did that really, really nicely. So I really liked it. I think it'll be something I'll definitely be looking forward to wearing in the next season.
Agreed. Why don't you guys take a little watch yourself? And now the inimitable Roland Mouret, who actually took a step out of the official London Fashion Week calendar and decided not to do a film or a show or a virtual presentation, but instead release his lookbook of collection for autumn-winter online. And it's really interesting to see what Roland's dreamt up for autumn, because he definitely combines this need for like sportiness, the reality of women wearing leggings. He is showing white leggings with a gorgeous coat on top or a white blouse on top. But then on the other end of the spectrum, you know, his incredible use of color and these sort of fuchsias and yellows of these amazing structured sort of pieces, both sort of soft tailoring, soft structure, and also his famous cuts that he sort of layers and stitches in the most incredible way. So Roland, we just thought we would share some images. I'm wearing a happy pink jacket of his. He just brings color and joy and joie de vivre to London Fashion Week. So it was really lovely to see what he had up his sleeve, even if it wasn't in the traditional video sense. Carmen, did you have a favorite piece that you picked out?
I think my favorite piece would be the kind of yellow trousers with, I'm not really sure how to describe it. It's what you kind of distorted waistcoat, really structured top with asymmetric shoulder, and I just thought that was really joyful, really pretty. Just looks like something that you would wear when you want to have a lot of fun, which sounds very bizarre, but I feel like now we've been stuck inside and I've spent so much time bored. I'm looking forward to having those times when I'm like, I know I'm going to have fun, I'm going to wear an outfit to feel good, and really. And
it's going to be bright yellow. So, I get it. I hear you.
Exactly. Yeah. What could be a more happy colour than yellow? So, yeah, that really stuck out to me.
That sounds good. Now, last but definitely not least, and probably the reason why we kept it for last is because it's definitely one of the highlights of today, Roxanda and her beautiful film starring Vanessa Redgrave, her daughter Jolie Richardson, and her daughter Daisy Bevan. They were caught on iPhone, shot by themselves, directed by Roxanda via mobile. And it was an absolutely joyous collection, film, and expression of femininity and motherhood and solidarity and just sort of the Trinity, like the Holy Trinity. If we're gonna find incredible women to shoot your clothes on, you can't get much better than this. And I just was blown away by both the simplicity of the film, but the absolute emotion in it, and absolutely adored it. Did you get a chance to watch it fully, Carmen?
I did. I thought it was really beautiful. It had Shakespeare's Sonnet 73 playing on the background as you saw these really intimate moments, and it was exactly kind of what I felt like I needed to see. It's just those moments of familiar nature and care, and it just felt like such a beautiful, loving piece of art. It was just lovely to watch. But I know you spoke to her before the show. I wonder, did she share about how difficult it was to direct it remotely and create it?
Yeah. She did a preview with me on Friday, and she was just explaining how, you know, they just shot it this month, and she sort of was pinching herself as she was kind of on an iPhone directing Vanessa Redgrave, who looks incredible in her clothes. And Roxanda is a real artist and a sculptress, and she just happens to use sort of fashion and fabric as like her draping tools. And some of these dresses and were just, you know, there was like velvet ribbons and the bows in the back, and the sleeves are huge, and there is no way that today you could wear that. But I know that in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 maybe months, we will absolutely be flocking to this joyous collection. So I think, you know, showcasing how you can make a beautiful fashion film on incredible women looking amazing at home, on their farm, in the countryside. You know, there's obviously a real feeling for farm life. But if you can be part of Vanessa Redgrave's squad, then sign me up, because I'll be there. Chickens, Roxanda dress, and a white dog chasing me around, please.
Yeah. I definitely would be wearing that in the countryside.
Yeah, exactly, Carmen. This is definitely our future life, I think. So
Yeah.
that was it. That was it for our day 3/4 of London Fashion Week. Some really amazing things that we got to see. And tomorrow is the last day before we wrap up, so we'll be back with you. Again, go to the website. You can watch our Emilia Wickstead and Roxanda films there in full, so you can understand why we're waxing Rhapsody. And Carmen, I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Bye.